All right. So, hello, Nassif. Thanks so much for joining me on this interview. Like you've probably seen before, I'm Warren Walters from Universal Containers, and we've got a ton of work going on, and I'm really overwhelmed. So, we've been starting to look for another Salesforce administrator to really help out with some of the different things that we have going on and the different initiatives that we have. So from that standpoint, we've got lots of different things going on, but of course, we're looking for somebody with the right fit and expertise that can help out and start jump in right away. So, of course, like the obligatory question, just tell me about yourself, introduce yourself. I'd love to hear about you.
Okay, so I'm having total 5 years of experience in IT, and I'm new into the Salesforce ecosystem. And yeah, I'm working on the Trailhead also. So yes, so I have started. So I got to learn about Salesforce through Trailhead only. So from there, I got some resources from YouTube also. So I got interested into Salesforce ecosystem. Yeah. So now I'm looking for an opportunity into Salesforce.
Awesome. So tell me what really interests you about the Salesforce ecosystem, right? There's so many different avenues that you can go down. Why did you choose this one for your next career journey?
Yeah, because I feel that firstly the trailhead excited me a lot. Means the content is available in the trailhead is very helpful. So when I was looking for a new opportunity, so for other technology like AWS or DevOps or other technology, I need to do lot of research. But when I came into Salesforce, there is a platform called Trailhead. You can go through there, and you will have the knowledge of Salesforce. And secondly, it's a cloud based system. So so if you don't have a coding knowledge also, you can start your career in the Salesforce. And the look and feel is also very good and very interesting. So you will not feel like it's a very complicated system. So it's very unique. I will say unique, and it's very interesting to start a new career. And if you are stuck, there are many resources you can refer, and you can start. Means uh, as compared to other technology, easily you can start. I feel that is easily I can start my career into the Salesforce, and it's the fastest growing technology also. So that is the reason I came into Salesforce.
Yeah, so those are really great points. And at least when I started in the Salesforce ecosystem, there really was only Trailhead and that was just getting started. So there are a bunch of different resources, but Trailhead has really taken off over the last few years to be the premier location where a lot of the Salesforce resources are. So I think that is great that you're utilizing that to learn. So from Trailhead, have you been doing any like super badges or do you have any certifications? Kind of tell me about your credentials and how that kind of helps you learn.
Yeah, so through Trailhead, yeah, I have completed, like I am a ranger in Trailhead. So yeah, and I have admin certification also. So yeah, so in Trailhead I have completed admin super badge, and I've also started learning development also. Yeah.
Okay. And from going through those trailheads, is there a specific Salesforce feature that you find really interesting or that you like the most? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, like the automation tools are very interesting. Formula field is very interesting, and the way it has in the Trailhead, it's very interesting. It's like I'm working in an organization. So if you start learning on Trailhead, you will feel like you are working for an organization and how to implement it. So yeah, it's very interesting.
Okay. So let's go a little bit deeper in some of these different automation tools. You mentioned formula fields. Can you tell me when you would want to use a formula field? Like what are formula fields used for?
Yeah, suppose for formula field is a uh, means when we want to set a formula, means when we want on automatic, like suppose field is there, and suppose field is there, amount is there, and discount is there. And there's another field to total amount, and I want to calculate the total amount of after making the discount. Suppose for uh, uh, suppose fees is like 1,000, and I have given 10% discount on that 1,000. After that, in the other field, like after discount, how much will be the amount. So for that we use a formula field, and formula field is like we can't edit that formula field. It is a read only mode. So means when we create a formula field, or automatically it will reflect in the uh, page.
Okay, yeah, and I think that's really great. And discount calculations is a really common scenario that we may have in our org to be able to like run calculations and figure out bonuses and things like that. So I think that's really cool. Are there any other applications of formula fields that you can think of, or like any other formula field types of functions that you know of?
Yeah, formula field is for concatenation. Also, we use formula field, and formula field is used for the so for means in if and else also we can use a formula field. If field is this, then I want to show the other field value differently, then we can go for the formula field.
Okay. Awesome. Can you tell me about some of the other types of fields that you can create inside of Salesforce and what they're used for?
Yeah, and there are many field, means text field is there, so to create a name, email, and there is a lookup relationship is there, or lookup is there, master detail is there, and there's a number field is there. Pick list is there. So pick list is like we want to make the choices between the options. That is for the pick list, and as I told, lookup and master detail is a relationship between two objects, and number is there, and phone is there, email is there. Yeah, there are many options which we can use.
Right. So let's say that we need to hold some sort of payment value, right? So like this is the amount of our account or an amount of our bonus that our reps are typing in. What type of field would we use
So
in that
currency is there.
scenario?
For that we will use a currency field. We have an option of currency. We
And,
can store in number also, but we should store in currency.
and why is it important to store it in a currency field?
Currency, that means if we store in the currency, then we will get the currency symbol also. The currency which we have set for the org, that symbol will come, and we will be easily figure out that this field is used for currency.
Yeah, really cool. You also mentioned a lookup and master detail fields. Can you kind of explain to me what the differences of those are?
Yeah, so actually, lookup and master detail is a relationship. So when we want to create a relationship between two objects, then we go for the lookup and the master detail relationship. Lookup relationship is loosely coupled. Like means if we create a lookup relationship, then it's not necessary that child object need to be attached with the parent object. And this is the one point. And in the lookup, the child did not inherit the security setting of the parents. This is the second point. And yeah, and if we delete the parent object, child object will not get deleted in the lookup. But in the master detail relationship, it's a tightly coupled. Means like we can't create a child without associating a parents, and if we delete a parents record, child record will also get deleted, and the child record security setting derived from the parent. And I think the owner of the child is the owner of the parents. So yeah, and in master data relationship, uh, uh, there is an options of for that. We can calculate like some minimum, maximum, average. I'm not getting that word
Right.
means.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you're totally correct in that when you have those master detail relationships, you're then able to use the roll-up summary
roll
fields,
up
right?
summary. Sorry, roll up summary. Yeah,
To do those values.
yeah,
So I think it's
yeah.
good that you know, even though like I don't memorize all of the names, but I think you do know that is available for you.
Yes.
So kind of sticking on the same topic of lookup fields and master detail relationships, have you heard of junction objects? Do you know what those are?
Yeah. Junction object I know. So suppose if we want to create a many, so the lookup and master data relationship is like a one to many. But if we want to create a many to many relationship, then we go for the junction object.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we can kind of switch gears. I know you mentioned automations also were something that, as you started to learn on Trailhead, that you're able to build these out, and that really gets you excited about the power of the platform. Can you tell me about some of the different like automation tools that you've worked with?
Yeah, so I have worked with workflow, I have worked with process builder, and now recently I've started working on flows. So I'm new into the flows as we know that workflow and process builder is now retired. So we need to work on, so we have only one automation tool, that is flows. Yeah, so I've worked on all three, but for flows, I'm new into the flows.
Okay. Have you built any flows out? Kind of tell me about your experience with it since this is the go-to tool for the future.
Yeah, I've worked on the flows. So means recently only I've worked that suppose account is there and related opportunities is there, and opportunities is like close lost. So if there is an opportunity related to the account which is close lost, then we need to create a task, then we need to create a task to check with the leads to uh, delete all those opportunities. So for that I've created a flows. So in flows I've used a screen flow, and in that I've used a uh, get record elements to get a record, and then I've also used a for loop in the flows to get all the related opportunities from the account. And I have also used a uh, create record for creating a task, and at the last we need to display in the screen, so I have used that also.
Okay. Really cool that you have this ScreenFlow experience. Do you, I kind of have two questions in here. So you've mentioned ScreenFlow. Even if you haven't used them before, do you know any of the other types of flows and kind of what they are for?
So there are other types of flows also, that record trigger flows is there, uh, uh, platform trigger flows is there, and so I'm new into the flow, so I remember these three, and we have two more I think so, but I don't remember the names.
Yeah, the other one is auto launch flow, which kind of
Auto
acts
launch flow.
as
Yeah.
a flow that can be called in different areas. And there may be one other one, but I think you covered the main ones that I was looking for there. Do you know, and it's more of a like a broader question though, but do you know why we are moving away from workflows and process builders to flows? Like, do you have any ideas about that or guesses?
I think so. From workflow to process builder, we have moved because we have many options in the process builder. So that is why we moved from workflow to process builder. And we can call an Apex through process builder, and we can work on the related object also in process builder. So that is why we have moved from workflow to process builder. And I think similarly, I think so from process builder workflow, we have moved because we have many more options in the flows. So because Salesforce highlight means low code. So we don't have to code more. Because of that, we are moving from workflow from to process builder to flows, because have many more options in the flows, and we can solve a client problem by using a low code. So that is why I think so.
Yeah,
We are
I
using flows.
think it's a great point. You are correct, and flows add a lot more customization. It does
Yeah,
end up being a little more complicated because
yeah,
of some of the different features that are available, but you're starting to move away from the simplest of tools, which was workflow rules, into something that's more complex, but gives you a lot of power to be able to do a lot of things that you could potentially do in code are now at your, a drag and drop or a UI type of interface, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So awesome there. And I think that's great that you're starting to dive into flows. I want to kind of talk about something that we've been working a lot with internally at Universal Containers, which is we have an external area where we like to have our partners log in and buy containers and look at different containers that they have shipped. I wanted to throw it out there and see if you have any knowledge or experience with Experience Cloud. So, have you heard of Experience Cloud, and have you looked into that before?
Experience Cloud? No, means I have
And
not heard about the Experience Cloud.
yeah, that's okay.
Sorry.
From our side, it's give me 1 second. I'm gonna pause because so it's totally okay if you don't have experience with Experience Cloud. What it mainly is a portal or a website where our users, our partners, and other customers with a special license can actually come in. They can log in and see some of the Salesforce data that we have in the system, right? So it really gives them that type of portal where they can go in, but they don't have full login access to our Salesforce instance, and there's also some security concerns around giving them access to like all of the data that we have inside of our org.
Okay. Okay.
But that would be something like we
Yeah.
would probably look for you to learn pretty quickly, as it's a big part of our business.
Okay. I will go through that Experience Cloud.
Cool. Um, so kind of moving on, right? Let's talk about kind of diving deeper into something that you were talking about with Salesforce going low code. And a lot of times we want to try to use the declarative option as the solution, right? Whatever we can build out internally. But every once in a while, we do run into roadblocks where we need to either use code or somehow find a third party to be able to get uh, the solution that we want to build. So, just if you have any thoughts, kind of tell me about if you've ever run into any roadblocks and have seen, okay, maybe now is the time to look at some of those third parties or some of the code. And, tell me about if you have any experience with that.
Yeah. So means while as we know that flow, I am new into the flow when I was working in the process builder. So for the deletion of the record, we need to go for the trigger. We can't do through that process builder, and there are many more complex situation which for which we need a code, means we can't achieve through the automation tools like suppose we have a custom object and we want to restrict a user based on an email id. Suppose one user has been created with one email id, and again the other user is getting created with the same email id, and we want to restrict that. Then yeah, we need to go for the code, and we need to avoid this automation tool.
Mhm.
And there are many more scenarios, like means as the scenario get complex, then we need to go for the programmatic approach.
Okay. Have you heard of any of like the third party tools that we can use? Like how can we look for those and get those inside of our org so that we can maybe
Yeah,
test it out?
so third party we can use through app exchange. So we need to go for means we can download from the app exchange and we can use it. I think I have come across like documentation or for e-signature. There is an application in app exchange. So yeah,
And what are some
we
of
can
the go ahead, sorry.
yeah. So we have through app exchange we can use those third parties.
Okay. And I think that's great. Yeah, definitely we want to look through the app exchange for when we've hit those roadblocks and we want to then move into finding like more complex solution. What are some of the things that we may need to think about when looking at packages on the App Exchange, or even when we're writing custom code, getting a consultant to bring in our custom code? What are some things that we should think about when going, like looking for or moving towards those processes?
So firstly, we need to check for the, I think so, pricing, that what is the pricing for that, whether it will be useful or not, as per the pricing. And secondly, whether it is compatible. I think so. We need to check whether it is compatible or not. Yeah, I think so. These two.
Yeah, I think you're right, and especially from our side, right? We don't have just unlimited money, so we
Uh,
want to make sure that we are
yeah.
spending our money wisely on the system. And specifically talking about code, right? If we bring that into our system, we want to make sure that it's maintainable in some way, shape, or form, right? So either we get the expertise in-house so that we don't always have to rely on some sort of third party, or it's built in a way that we can add customizations to it if there are small changes that we need for our code. So there is definitely the maintenance piece that goes into bringing on these additional types of automations and tools that we need to solve our business problems.
Yeah.
Do you have any experience with reports and dashboards?
Yeah, I have experience, but I have not worked much on report and dashboard, but I have a knowledge on report and dashboard.
Okay. Um, what are some of the like use cases? Like, why are reports and dashboards useful? Who are they? Who would you potentially like if you had to make some for various different people of our business? What would some of those like look like? Just brainstorming and spitballing.
So reports are mainly of four type. Means summary report is there, tabular report is there, matrix report is there, and joint report is there. We mainly use report means to directly see the objects, means in the objects if we want to check the related field, so we create a report means, and in report we can also create a report as per our usage by using the report type. We can customize the report. So if we want to use the two object, and for that two object if we want to use the field like, in report, I want to generate a report to look for the annual revenues from the opportunities which are close won, so we can create a report and we can use that. And yeah, and reports are mainly reports are used by the sales users, I think so, to get the ideas of the, uh, like for example, if we are working on an opportunity object, so by creating a report we will get it, by creating a report we'll get an idea about the opportunities object. As per the need we can modify the report and dashboard, and by using the dashboard we can view the reports by using the dashboard. Means where we can place, and where we can place the reports as per our requirements. Suppose we need to place the dashboard in the home page, then we can place that and we can view that. So report is very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And we have a few different sets of reports that are built out for generally the sales team, and then some executive overview type of reports so they can see the health of like the company and the opportunities that we're building out. So I think you are spot on there in terms of how we need to build them out. One other thing is some data areas that we have to work with. So oftentimes we get lists from those partners that I was talking about earlier of different types of changes that need to happen for our cargo and our containers that need to get done. So we get these huge lists that need to be inserted into a few different records and maybe even make some updates based on that. So I was wondering if you had any familiarity with some of the tools that were used to like import bulk data into Salesforce.
Yeah, yeah. So uh, we have a tool called data loader and we have a tool called workbench. So by using these two tool, we can insert the records into the Salesforce org. So yeah, so the file should be in the CSV format. to load the data into the Salesforce ecosystem. Yeah.
Okay. And are there any things that you need to kind of worry about when you're doing these data loads into the
So
system?
yes, yes, we need to worry about if we are inserting, then we need to check for the fields. The fields should be matched. The fields should be same, and yeah, we need to match the fields, and the files should be in the CSV format. But when we are updating, as you told that we need to update, so we need to check for the IDs. So IDs play an important role. That ID should be same, yeah. So there should be an ID field which is the ID field should be same as per the record into the Salesforce, or yes, as
What
per the
about
Salesforce.
any automations that we have? Like if we have a flow, a record trigger flow on the same object that we are inserting on or updating on, will those go off when we do the insert?
Mm, yeah, means yes, this is a very good question. Yeah. So when we are inserting a record, no, no, those will not be off. Means those will be active, and as we insert the record, if there is some rule written on the insert record, then those will fire. I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, so we do need to make sure that we are not that we don't have the records, the automations already on, well, depending on the automation, right? But they're not on for when we load our data in, because they may start like sending emails and doing a whole bunch of other things that maybe we don't want. So we need to make sure that we know the automations that we are doing before we send them out, right? Before we get those things processed. And if we do want them on, great, but we need to make sure that we know exactly what we want on from the automation standpoint before we do our data load.
Okay.
Cool. Kind of one other, probably the last thing. I feel like I keep saying the last thing, but can you kind of tell me about the deployment process in Salesforce? Like, where do you work on things? How do you get new automations made? What does that look like?
So I don't have much knowledge on deployment, but I know that by using change set, we can deploy it from one org to the different org. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
and
don't have much knowledge on deployment as I
totally
have not
fine.
worked on the deployment.
Do you know of any different types of orgs that exist? Like why
Yeah,
do we even have one org versus like why don't we just work all in the same org?
yeah. So we have a sandbox and we have a production org. So sandbox is used for the testing purpose. We can't directly test in the live org because clients will be working on that org. So to avoid any confusion or to avoid any redundancy, we work on the sandbox, and from there we deployed our components into the developer org.
Yeah, totally right. From that standpoint, there are other types of sandboxes that we can create, but the general gist is that you only want to do that. You want to always start in a sandbox, and then once you've tested your code out, move it into the production environment. So
Yeah.
really cool. I will open it up for you. Do you have any questions for me about universal containers or their roles?
No, just I have a question that what will be the role in the universal container, or like it will be completely admin or it will be developer come admin.
Um,
And I
it-
have a knowledge of development also if you want to know, means yeah.
oh, okay, really cool. Yeah, so this role is primarily going to be admin focused. We will, there's going to be, so I'm the senior admin and slash architect on the team, and everything that we've been talking about, there are different areas inside of our platform that we'll need to be working on, right? So we do have a deployment process that happens from a few different sandboxes, and all of those changes gets moved over. We have a UAT process that happens in our full sandbox, and we have lots of like automations and customizations, especially on the communities portal that I was mentioning a little bit earlier. Right. So from your standpoint, you'll kind of be my right-hand man and working alongside me to build out a lot of the automations and functionalities that will be in the system. So I think that's a great question. And we don't restrict you in terms of the tools that you want to use. What I mean by that is, right, you're not just an admin if you want to dabble in some development aspects. Like you're totally allowed to do that as long as it is meeting the correct standards for our deployments and the best practices for writing any development code.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Cool. Anything else? Any other questions?
No, no, Varun. Thanks. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, Nassif, it has been great interviewing you so far. I'm gonna kind of compile my notes, send it to our HR team, and then they should be getting back to you within a few days.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Varun. Thank you for your time.
All right. I will talk with you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.